welcome, guys and gals. Given recent events, tweets. Pardon me. No. Okay. Here we go. Hey, Jimmy. Jimmy from Bright Insights and Bright Insight posted about the Rakat structure and its relationship to the eye, which I previously responded to, so maybe I can even find. Let me tell you some things. In Far East Russia, there is a structure that resembles an eye, which is the result of undercurrents. Here. This is Far East Russia. And probably other stuff, pardon me, like Korea maybe. Then I outlined it, how there's a current going this way that wraps around here, goes in here, and then goes down here, and also goes this way, creating a boundary that then this current swirls in because of that current. Then I point to this region where there's an eye here, an eye here, an eye here, probably other eyes, two sort of snake features. Here's maybe another one going out this way with a mouth here that isn't quite the same. It's like an offshoot, like sideways, so maybe it has some similarities. Okay. Let's see if I can find the Fiji. Here we go. Here's Fiji. And then in the magnetic anomaly map is features of these dragon-headed snakes with rattlesnake tails. That's here that I talked about in other videos. And so, just to point this out real quick, because it's going to be real interesting in a second. So, like I posted in response to this, like I said, I thought I would bring this to your attention as it relates to this post of the Eye of Sahara and its relationship to the Eye of Horus and the Eye of Ra, which are like the left and right eye names. One is like positive and negative, like one of them has a dark center, the other has a like white empty center almost, like a ring, like a void, like they're opposites. I think that's what's going on with them, which is reminiscent of North America, which I talked about. It's hard to see where this is a dragon, and there's like an eye here, I believe, and then an eye kind of here that are like opposites. So I was looking because of this. Sorry if that's really loud. It's so loud. It's so loud. It's like something hard is in there. And then washer, dryer. In the case of the Eye of the Sahara, the fact remains that it formed 100 million years ago, which was during the Earth's expansion process, which was caused by a vortex weapon attack on ancient Dwarka that occurred 650 million years approximately, but was really the start of the Younger Dryas. Atlantis was Flemish captain. I go on and be an asshole. Pardon me. Standard operating procedure, I guess. But like I was saying, I posted this. I was basically A little background. Geology. I've been noticing some the Turkey earthquake posts in here. People are asking like this kind of question, like why are there all these related earthquakes? And people were responding and being like, well, it's just because we're looking, kind of thing. There is no correlation. Thousands happen every day, that kind of thing. Pardon me, guys. And I just felt I would point out. I said, well, there is certainly a correlation. No one's actually seen this yet. Otherwise, I'd be downvoted to oblivion for posting this in the geology subreddit where maybe people can't even see. It's probably you probably have to click it like this because my karma is negative. Because people here don't like what I say. But so there's a certain correlation. There's certainly a correlation between earthquakes. The words I say aren't very perfect, let's say. But essentially, I'm saying the San Francisco earthquake, which occurred at the epicenter of Loma Prieta, caused damage that was really focused at the Marina District of San Francisco and across the bay at Oakland, which really demonstrates a conduit of energy. Basically, the energy traveled through some sort of channel where it was vented at a weak point. That was those locations specifically, rather than just from exactly where the epicenter was and just shaking equivalently, inverse distance squared kind of thing, like gravity almost, or magnetism. But it didn't do that. It more so flowed like a current, seemingly. And then I point out that seems to have happened in other instances where there's known, here's an earthquake, here's a volcano, earthquake, boom, the volcano. It seems like they want the earthquake in some way triggered the volcano enough to connect the two, which happens in Indonesia in several instances. I couldn't find the most rigorous scientific discussion of that potential, but this one is a USGS document that says, it basically discusses a 7.8 magnitude earthquake on July 16th struck about 60 miles northeast of Mount Pinatubo. At Mount Pinatubo, this major earthquake caused a landslide, some local earthquakes, and a short-lived increase in steam emissions from a pre-existing geothermal area, but otherwise seemed to be continuing its slumber. But then it says in March, with a delay. Not immediately after, but with a delay. So there's some relationship where it even caused a change in there was a venting going on, but maybe it's just a precursor, warning. Warning, danger, there was an earthquake, and then and then some venting here, probably not a good sign. Then I just go on and say, well, for certain, that's when I found this. I was like, dude, I was thinking, I wonder, can I find some channels? And I've been really having issues with this website. I'm like, is my IP address flagged? Don't allow this to load. They're probably just doing routine maintenance kind of thing, so it's just not, the server is not able to load. It's doing it more than it has. It might actually load Turkey for us to look at it now. I don't know what's up. It might be a couple days before I can use this website again while they presumably do maintenance. Hopefully I'm not truly restricted, that would be kind of hilarious, but also kind of unfortunate. I doubt that happened, though. How could that possibly have happened? Okay. So I saw this. That led me to find this, and I was like, whoa, dude. Immediately, I just stopped what I was doing in the middle of posting this. Let's see. 2:30 p.m. 2:08 p.m. So like while writing that article, pretty much what it was, a long ass post. This comment, article form, essay form comment. I paused that and went over and like, hey Jimmy, check this out, dude. You're probably not gonna look, but if you look, you're gonna be like, dude, that looks like that. Like, that really does resemble that enough for me to be curious. And it really is just straight up in this publication, May 19th, or 2014, this eye in Turkey. And this is where the earthquake happened in this region. So basically, what I was thinking is this earthquake, which occurred here, I believe. I wonder if it'll just show it. I guess, yeah, here. So generally, though, like, following this line, maybe even exactly following that line, like, in the way it even kind of fades here. Like, maybe there's another, like, continuation of it in here, too. Shallow currents tend to flow along the boundaries, at least initially, until they can carve out chunks. So this is a current flowing along a boundary, which is specifically flowing up into this channel, presumably, where current is more able to flow. And Dutch, let me find this channel. I was looking around like, is anyone predicting this earthquake? I saw someone predicted it, but he's not who I had heard of before. This guy, Dutch Cincy. I've heard of before, and I listened to what he was saying a little bit. It's hard to, like, to just jump in without going really far enough back in time to, like, catch up, but, like, which I understand you guys have the same problem with my videos, where, like, it's hard to just jump in at the present day and understand what is being talked about, and to a degree at least, and why, and, like, what the significance is of some things, and, like, what the basis is of other things, which is a lot of times pretty extensive. So I was thinking, this kind of gives me the impression of it being some kind of, like, just like the Birdman, just a standard current flow that just happens systematically. In this case, this is kind of like a negative, so like the eye of the Sahara, the current flow was above, and this structure was basically, like, pushing up into the current flow and being, like, carved by the current flow. Whereas in the case of Turkey, it seems more like this structure right here is that, like, high seismic zone right here. So it's almost like a negative. It did the opposite, where because instead of, in Africa's case over here, this was water flowing above the surface that was carving the current. So it's almost like a negative positive version of the same thing. Whereas over here, it was under the crust and presumably like a hot mantle magma material. Although maybe not. Maybe it's like saturated with water. That this water, like essentially, the reason I find this interesting is almost like any energy that like works its way in here. I wonder if there were earthquakes around here like a couple days ago beforehand, where it like worked its way in and then it got like energy got into this like chamber and just propagated across here, like down the fault line of like this kind of structure that went through the Mediterranean and opened it basically through this region to to its furthest tip over here and then up through this region. So like generally propagating across here and then up through here. So it's possible, just based on this map, that this current will just continue to flow this way and up this way, especially in these two paths. Not so much this way because it would have to bend, but if it like this is a different current that comes from a different angle, that maybe this is only Turkey. I did look at, let's look at seismic zone map Europe. It's actually largely Turkey, interestingly. Like that it's focused in more so. They're not identical. They seemingly don't show that like eye feature in the Turkey sections of these maps. Looks like this whole stretch is pretty high earthquake potential. That's interesting. It's almost like it can go this way, generally that way, but it also can get like caught here and turn this way maybe. If that has any validity to that like corner there. There's certainly, I noticed this, there's a hexagon type structure, or like there's a square here, but that's kind of centered on this. But then there's like this structure, this, that kind of goes this way. So there's like different geometries here. That's interesting. It's almost like the opposite, like a wave traveling through this way that goes down, up, down, up, down, up, kind of thing, maybe. I don't know. There's certainly energies traveling this way above the surface. Maybe through the crust, above and below. I don't know how much water was involved in where in the current. Certainly it was involved in Western North America heavily, and just North America in general, and probably part of this region. presumably here. And like water certainly flowed across all of this. But sometimes I think there wasn't water, like the puncture hole didn't have water coming out. It was really just like a hot mantle material. Okay, so there's that. I wonder if this, like, this segment, the up-down segment, can be kind of related to this. Because I'm thinking, like, over here it has one, two, and then over here they just combine. It's possible that over here it has one, two, and then the separation kind of merges here, and they just kind of become one up to here, but there's kind of two conduits that are not distinguished here in this map, but maybe there's like a subtle variation where there's like a actual boundary. So potentially something of that nature, and then this goes just down, continues to the base of the Mediterranean region. I wonder if this seismic map has that kind of feature in it, down through Israel. Sorry, Palestine. Down through whatever that region is. And then maybe this is like the Mediterranean. Let's see. Is there any kind of hook? Maybe all the way up here. That would be pretty big. I was thinking like the hooking down here to the Eye of the Sahara would be cool, but that's kind of unreasonable. Maybe hooking up into this region. Let's check out this map and see if it will load down now. Forbidden again. What in the frick? I really think that's happened before when they were just doing maintenance. I think they're just doing pretty heavy maintenance right now. Multiple days. It's crazy when I'm like noticing their maintenance. It does look like there's some kind of like pink structure down this coastline. And then a dividing pink structure that goes more like around this structure. Here, this way. So it has one going this way, down along the coastline, and then another going this way. Where is it? At the end. At the end. That we can't access quite. Maybe it hooks into here. Like here, even. I probably just have the images. Like, I don't need to look them up because I probably have them. I just don't know. This region that I'm trying to look at, I don't know where to immediately find them. Ooh. I feel like we're getting somewhere. Here it is. Here it is. Okay. So this must be like generally the eye, the brow structure at the top, a current through it that widens. That then looks like, okay, if we were to like follow this current, let's say it goes this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. Because it's probably not just like done. Like it's some current flow that erupted energy there, but maybe it continues. It does make sense. It may have dissipated by like running into resistance, but like that doesn't. And maybe that's even what's going on with this pink thing here. Like it came in this way between these two and then funneled and then kind of ramped up this into like eruption, like pushing into whatever this current is, pushing into the earth itself and like shaking it, maybe. And then continuing, like falling down in this region and just continuing. So maybe in this region, like hitting some turbulence, like some regions where it runs into resistance. I don't know where the earthquakes occurred. I know Syria had some. Not even sure where Syria is in this map. Let's look at here. So down here, so maybe it, I'm not sure if it's real close. Syria. Like this is still Turkey, this is still Turkey. So Turkey's pretty much across, maybe even at this natural boundary of this polygon. Generally speaking, to a degree, past maybe this is that, I'm not sure. So Syria, okay. So if the current, let's say that the current comes in this way, and through this channel and goes up generally this way, maybe some of it would like spill in this region. Let's see where the earthquakes were. Earthquakes, Syria, location. Why is it just saying? Is it just? Where did? There must be specific locations that especially experienced it. Oh god, dude. It's a disaster, dudes. That's why I'm like, well, maybe it'll be useful to actually consider what's going on here, what happened. Just northwest. Let's see, Twitter. Syria earthquake. What the hell? Turkey and Syria, and then he goes on and doesn't include Syria. That's oh. What are these yellow lines? So maybe that's the eye. The curling. Maybe here. Like it goes this way and then around here. No, pardon me. Da, da. Maybe to here. That kind of looks like it. It would be part of right here. So it'd kind of be part of this segment. So maybe it's a little too proximal, but it really does look like it. Okay. Before I get too caught up on that, let's keep it looking more generally because this is incredible. So I just clicked this. I was like, trying to find some data. Just kind of watched it like, okay, this is not doing much in my eyes for me. Like, there's just a bunch of earthquakes in certain locations. It's really showing where maybe even where the channels are. Like, this is interesting that this seemingly maybe connects there to a degree. Like, it probably connects, but it's hard to get across. Same here. Goes down, fully conjoined all the way through here, though, and into here. Like, when current goes this way, down this channel, generally, it does preferentially go through this region, presumably. And then maybe this reaches to the far point. It'd be crazy if that hand, like that arm, is like visible here. Of the eye. We can see almost like a diamond here. Kind of up, down, down, like perpendicular or parallel with one another. These, so pretty geometric. Truly flowing down channels and causing earthquakes is what I would say. Okay, so over here though, before we do this, let's check out the key. Depth, okay, so near the surface is red and deep underground is blue, and then bigger circles are higher magnitude. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm gonna hit play. Okay, already in what we've looked at right now is through September 1994 from January 1984 from January 1980. So we notice a clear already right here. We see high near the surface relatively, and then lower and lower still and lower still. Mind you, this is that cool place that we were just talking about not that long ago here. Where these wings are, I now see, are these wings real cool, and maybe here too? Really distinct on this side. To a degree, like we're seeing blue there, green here. It doesn't have the same filling here. It's kind of like not as much going on here. So there we have it. And even, like eyes, the big ones here. Maybe that's like a relative snakehead down here. If that's there, I don't know. It's hard to say sometimes without actually clicking the map, but that map's not working very well. But like these ones are pretty interestingly proximal to how these snakeheads are. This one I drew here, this we can't really see what's going on here. Although if we look at the map itself, it almost looks like a snake with an eyeball here. That's like so maybe there's some kind of relationship of like the strongest earthquakes of them all in the region tend to be in specific energy points like that. So cool. It really does look like a wing or something with all the colors. Okay, this is interesting. Shallow earthquakes in red, and then deeper earthquakes in blue. It's like things are sliding into the center point. Same here, like sliding. Things just filling the space, becoming more level by like going like from here to more like this. By things just kind of falling into some relative like tendency of gravity where they would go, space that happens over time, especially with forces applied from other forces. Okay. Really shallow at the front and deep at the back. Like at one point in the past, I mentioned how how the Mariana Trench is multiple shapes left behind here that are almost like it's just like pushing all the current that's forming the Mariana Trench is like pushing Australia into place. It's interesting these earthquakes actually follow and energetically connect in that manner too. That really show there's like an energetic connection where current flowed probably. Really deep earthquakes. It's so interesting. And then this, what? It's geologists like, oh god, oh lord. Whoa. It's not even in the mountains. It's straight up out here. What? That is incredible. Trying to find the South America one. Maybe. Why would that happen? That is so strange. What? It has to be results of the undercurrent that was just drilling into the side when the Earth expansion process was happening. Oh, in Fiji, this region was swirling with energy, like focal pointed, like here. Swirling in like a figure eight structure, like here. that then was spraying a jet down this way of like a flame that was then running into South America. And maybe cutting out underneath it to a degree. I don't know if this is in any way possibly related to that blue line. That's real telling here. Just below this, it starts. And then it cuts over, and then it goes straight. That is so strange. Let's watch this one just for reference, I guess. I believe this section was physically forming beneath this section, North America, pretty much. And then it slid out from underneath it, which is why we have Goyets, these these seamounts that are Goyets, because their top has been just flattened because they physically were like protruding up. So when these two layers or one of them slides out, its rough spots are just like literally just made smooth and turned into these features called conduits, which I talk about in other videos about the dragon. So this is really underneath of this, which is flowing across here, through here, and then into South America this way and fanning out like a flame. Where then for some reason it ends up having this structure. There is an aspect of this where the current flows across here into here and then basically turns around and goes down this way, and another current comes in this way, so that then they go back this way, cross through here at the time and into up here, where they then like turn around somewhere up here though, more closer to the flame across. I may go over to like here-ish as a boundary. So maybe the turning around kind of is related to this cutoff point as like a boundary that whatever's flowing this way kind of stops propagating here and turns around. It creates like maybe a rippling effect back and forth. Even like it's contained. I don't know if that's a thing that could happen, like a contained magma that just physically flows and influences the terrain by causing just earthquakes as it moves, because it's a lot of magma that's contained in some channel for some reason. I don't know if that's a thing that could be possibly happening. I'm just trying to make sense of this based on its location from here. Because right by here. Let's try to watch these blue ones then as they go across time. See them down here, up here, up. Now they're up here, back down here. There's gotta be a way to slow this down. Well, I don't know. I'll keep thinking about it. I'm gonna end this video here. I thought this was too cool not to bring it up, and also that I was making some form of useful like things that maybe I should talk about with relationship to the earthquake in Turkey. So there we are. I'm gonna keep looking into it. It certainly seems feasible that this could like continue this way. It probably came in this way and will continue this way. Maybe this way to a degree, but probably more so like the path it's already going. Alright then. See y'all later. Peace out.